Drinking buddies. I'm really excited for this one because it's the final round in our weeded bourbon tournament before we get to the finals. And let's jump right in.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So what do we got left for our final round? Well, I had 4 bottles to choose from, as well as some other options that we'll get to. I had to eliminate 2 of the bottles, though. One of them is going to be Amador. It is a weeded bourbon, however, it's finished in Chardonnay barrels, and I just felt like it being the only finished weeded bourbon in this lineup would be weird. And the other one was, some people in the comments suggested that I do some wheat whiskeys, but I thought that would open up too many other possible rounds if I included wheat whiskeys. So I have the Woodford wheat here, didn't include that one. I just thought it's not a bourbon, we're doing a weeded bourbon thing, so I chose not to do it. So that left a few bottles that I could choose from, but there was 2 that I really wanted to put in here that were really weird and interesting, and that's gonna be these 2 guys. And what are they exactly? Well, this one is a blend of weeded bourbons called Poor Man's Pappy, and this is a blend of weeded bourbons called Prudent Pappy. And what are these? Well, Poor Man's Pappy is when you take 60% Weller Antique 107 and 40% Weller 12. And Prudent Pappy is supposed to be like everyday available, like you could go buy this at the store right now. That's gonna be 2 parts Maker's Cask Strength to 1 part Larceny. And this has been sitting in the bottle for quite a while. And the other 2 that I chose to throw in here are 2 that I wanted to include, and they're both out of Indiana, that are bottled somewhere else. And this one is 90 proof, so it is the lowest out of here. The Prudent Pappy is going to come in at, the Prudent Pappy is gonna come in at 104 proof, and the Pappy, the Poor Man's Pappy is gonna come in at 100.4 proof, or 100.1. I will cut and put in the right one. This Oak and Eden is much higher. It's at 116, and it has a oak spiral right in the bottle, which I think is kind of interesting. As you guys know, I've used a lot of oak spirals on the channel. And then last one on the end is gonna be this 9-banded weeded bourbon. I did the 9-banded weeded cask strength earlier in a video, but I didn't do the standard 9-banded, and I felt like it deserved to be included because for a younger weeded bourbon, it's pretty good. I do like this one. Mind-blowing, no, but it is pretty good. It's like Larceny to me. I think it's a phenomenal mixer. And this Oak and Eden I have never tasted before. So, and I've also never tasted the Poor Man's Pappy either. So we have 2 that I've never tasted before, and 2 kind of older staples that have been sitting around in my house for a while, but they're still pretty good. Let's jump right in. Okay, this is very citrusy on the nose. Orange zest. Orange heavy on the nose. That is a brown sugar bomb. That is straight up brown sugar and cinnamon. That's like a snickerdoodle cookie. That's really good. That is really good. A lot of brown sugar, cinnamon. Yeah, feeling like a snickerdoodle to me. Okay, completely different nose. This one's got a little bit more grain. And, something familiar that I'm not quite picking up. You know what, it's fruit, it's cherries and grain. Kind of an unpleasant finish on that one. A little bit plasticky on the finish. Flavors are vanilla and caramel, but a plasticky finish. I went right in to taste that one. I didn't even nose it. Okay. We'll talk about young grain. This is this is smelling a barn. This is that barnyard thing that I talk about. Very unpleasant nose on this one. The flavor is very sweet, very grain forward, little corny. Reminds me of cornbread because there's so much grain going on that one. Pretty sure that one's the 9-banded. Last up on the end here. Okay, this one smells like oak. This one smells like just straight up I'm smelling an oak tree. Okay. I have a feeling that I found that Oak and Eden. And if it is the Oak and Eden, I think I'm going to take that Spire out of there because this one is actually bordering on being over oaked. There is a lot of oak going on. There's a lot of those bitter tannins that come through from the oak. Not a lot of sweetness. It's good. I really think that might taste in the neighborhood of being as old as Elijah Craig 18. That tastes really old. That tastes really oaked. And I imagine it's really young. It's just got this spire in here, giving it extra age qualities. But yeah, I would be fooled. If you handed me this completely blind and said, hey, taste this, and what do you think? I would say that is an older bourbon, like 14 years plus. So that's pretty cool that they're able to pull that off because I'm like pretty confident that that's this. There's a little bit of a butterscotch thing that's giving it a little bit of sweetness, but that is mostly bitter oak tannins and charred age. It's not bad though. I'm not dissing the bottle, especially if I'm right that this is the Oak and Eden. This is the highest proof and it does not stand out as being hot by any stretch of the imagination. This might be something I'm recommending if this is that. It might not win this thing, but this crushes a Larceny barrel proof if this is that. I'm just saying, I'm 99% sure right now that this is the Oak and Eden, and whatever this is way better than Larceny barrel proof. So let's go back through as usual. I'm gonna fast forward through this part for you guys because I don't want to make you guys hear the same tasting notes twice. Okay, drinking buddies, we're back. A few things that I didn't pick up the first time. Definitely the second time through I picked up more of the heat on this one. Definitely stands out as being the hottest, so I'm like 1000% confident that this is the Oak and Eden. Second time through, this one definitely did taste better. It's still young, it's still super grainy. Like I said, it's that 9-banded, and I believe it's an excellent mixer. This is not a bad product at all. It's just a young wheated bourbon, and wheated bourbons need some time. I really want to say that this Oak and Eden is in the conversation with these first two, but unfortunately, these have to be those two blends. And by the way, I want to say about these two blends, I didn't make these out of nowhere. These are common blends that people use. That's why I chose to do them. People make the Poor Man's Pappy all the time, and people make the Prudent Pappy all the time. So these are not my blends. I wouldn't throw two random blends in a tournament like this. It would make it all wonky. However, these are blends that people make all day, every day. These are a real thing that your drinking buddy did not make up. However, these two are those blends, I'm pretty sure. And I am leaning towards number one being the best. It's just, the mouthfeel is excellent and it just goes down so smooth. You know what? It has a little bit more flavor going on than the second one. And I have no idea which is which. I guess I'm gonna guess that this is the Poor Man's Pappy because I prefer it more, and this is the Prudent Pappy. So my guesses are Poor Man's Pappy, Prudent Pappy, Nine Banded, and Okanagan. Let's find out if I'm right. So, wow. Okay, so the first glass was our Prudent Pappy. So Prudent Pappy is going to move on to the finals. The next glass is number 2. So that is our Poor Man's Pappy. So I just mixed those two up. It was very close between the two, but I did think the Prudent Pappy was a little bit better, which is kind of mind-blowing considering the 2 bottles that are used to make this up are not allocated. You can find them almost any time, and the 2 in here I had to fight for. I had to beg, barter, and steal to get these bottles. Not really. I don't condone begging or stealing or bartering. Just buy your whiskey normally, which is what I did. But anyway, I had to hunt and find for these 2 bottles to make this. This I could buy tomorrow and put together, and it's now in our final round. And you know what isn't in that round? Antique 107. It's kind of crazy. FAEO 2, not in the finals. Crazy. My mind is blown at how the results have came out. Obviously, this one's going to be the Nine Banded, and this one is the Okanagan. So yeah, Okanagan, number 1. My handwriting isn't the best on the bottom of these. But drinking buddies, I think this was an excellent experiment. We now have our 8 winners. How I am going to do the final 2 rounds. So these are the finals. I have my 8 winners. I'm going to put my 8 winners in here. I'm going to have my wife come in. She's going to pick 4 of them randomly, pour them for me. I'm going to pick 2 winners. I won't know what those 2 winners are. She will pour the other 4 for me blind. I won't know what's in that second round. I will pick 2 winners. Those 4 will go up against each other, and I will pick a final winner. And I won't know what any of the bottles or any of the glasses are for either round or for the final round. It's going to be really fun, drinking buddies. Those videos will come out over the next few weeks. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. We'll see you on the next one.